Welcome to Mission Oriented, a veteran crowd podcast that showcases veteran talent from both the private and public sectors. Their impact is everywhere. We are here to uncover it. Here's your host, Bob Louthen.
Well, 6 years ago, I was a little frustrated with the political situation in the United States, and I wrote a piece I called Vision 2020. At that point in time, I was hoping that we would be able to get more veterans into Congress because I felt like it was a critical missing element. After World War II, upwards of 70% of members of Congress were military veterans, and that number has fallen off precipitously. Well, today, my guest is doing something about that. Eli Crane is a Navy SEAL, an entrepreneur, founder of a great company called Bottle Breacher, and now he's a candidate running for Congress in Arizona in the 2nd District. Eli, welcome back to the program. Thank you for joining us again.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, I've just got so many things to talk about, but first I kind of want to talk about the transition from being a combat veteran to being an entrepreneur and now a politician. And, I've challenged some of my friends in the past. I mean, they don't call Washington the swamp for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting transition, Bob. I think a lot of the things that I've done in my life have kind of prepared me for this moment. I don't know what the outcome is going to be next Tuesday, but I know we've run a hell of a race. We've poured a lot of our, blood, sweat, tears, our own, treasure into this race as well, because we love this country and we're tired of watching the direction that we're headed in. I agree with you. I think that our country would probably be in a lot better spot if we had more veterans serving. And one of the greatest things about this cycle is that you're seeing a lot more veterans step up, and I think that's a good thing for America.
I can't thank you enough for doing this. I've had some friends that have gotten into politics, and one of the things that I find challenging, almost troubling about the whole thing is that in politics we are thrust into a situation where our ethical standards are not the standards of the people that we're working with. Can you address some of that? I mean, are you seeing some of that stuff here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, clearly it's a swampy place. The root word of the whole, apparatus is power. People, from the beginning of time have been willing to do ungodly things for power. But I've noticed, even doing an interview like this, which wouldn't have been a big deal to me, a couple years back. Now, my opponents are constantly running ads against me where they'll take a little interview that I did, they'll chop up 1 10-second soundbite, they'll throw that on TV to try and paint me out to be a monster, right now. I mean, and there's no boundaries whatsoever right now. The attacks on me, Bob, are that I'm a white supremacist, I'm a Nazi. Yesterday I found out I was anti-Semitic. I mean, these people will call you anything in the book, even regardless of whether you think those things are completely disgusting or not, because again, it's about power. And one of the reasons that you see politicians become politicians is because they have to really be careful about what they say, because everything they say can and will be used against them in the court of public opinion. And it's unfortunate, but it really has given me kind of a glimpse behind the scenes, if you will. And it's been a great experience, don't get me wrong. Even chock full of the adversity, the personal attacks, etc. I wouldn't change it for anything, but it's going to take courageous people. That's the bottom line, who really believe in the agenda that they're promoting, who believe that this country can still be a great place to live.
Right. Arizona seems to be kind of a battleground. You've got Kerry Lake, running for governor out there. It seems like a lot of money's being poured into this. I mean, from my perspective, I think that actually the negative attacks on you are a good sign, in the sense that your opponents fear you, that you
No,
actually might win this thing on Tuesday.
yeah, you know what, Bob, I think we are going to win this thing. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of perspective behind the scenes. And yeah, I mean, we do have, it is a political battleground out here in Arizona. We have some amazing candidates out here. And I'm really hopeful. I think we're going to have a phenomenal Tuesday out here in Arizona. But more importantly, I think it's going to be a phenomenal day around the country. And that's what I'm praying for. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see what the outcome is, but this country's in a lot of trouble. You and I both know it. Everybody knows it. And, I don't care if you're an independent Democrat or a Republican. If you don't wake up in the morning, read the news and scratch your head and wonder what the hell is going on in this country. I don't know what planet you're living on, but it's just getting more ridiculous by the day.
You win on Tuesday. What's the message you're going to carry with you for Arizonians when you go to Washington?
It's pretty simple, Bob. It's America first. That's it. And obviously that, there's a lot of policies that fall underneath the America first lesson or agenda, but I think it's one that, has really been lacking for decades in this country. And I think we need to get back to putting America and Americans first.
How do you think your military experience is helping you with this ordeal here? I know it's a marathon for sure, and but
Yep.
do you have some ties where you think your military experience has helped you fight this battle?
Absolutely. I think the biggest one is mental toughness. This is it's a long, tough road. You get attacked left and right, and it's like at the same time you're still trying to be a good father, a good husband, provide for your family. And when you run for office like this, you don't get paid for it. As a matter of fact, it's actually cost me a lot of money. But at the end of the day, it's mental toughness. It's being able to work and build a team. We had to do that in the military all the time because you're not going to get anything done on the battlefield by yourself. You're not going to get anything done in business by yourself. You're definitely not going to get anything done in politics by yourself as well. And so there's a lot of lessons that I learned in the military, that I rolled into business, and now I'm rolling into, politics as well.
You and I came from an organization that enjoys the trust of the American people. I mean, typically the military is at the top end of the trust spectrum. Although I do think that there's been some people trying to erode that recently. Congress is typically at the bottom of the trust spectrum. What do you think we can do to raise the trust level among American people for Congress?
Well, I think it starts with the people listening to this right now. We the people. That's what it's always been about. I've been saying on the campaign trail the last 16 months that it's a great thing to have a country that's of, by, and for the people. But when those people are checked out, Bob, when they're complacent, when they're not paying attention, a lot of people in this country don't even vote, let alone support candidates or get educated on the parties or what their platforms are. And, they're just kind of low information, voter type people that, are so busy with their Netflix and their podcasts and their vacations and just living the American dream that they're not checked. They're not in tune. And so, the problem with that is that it creates a vacuum, and that vacuum is being filled right now by many things that you and I probably don't like or think are, good for this country. And so it starts with the American people paying attention, because when the American people pay attention and actually choose representatives that actually represent them, and not the party or the status quo, I think that's where this whole thing starts. And so it comes back to us. At the end of the day, it comes back to us. We can sit here and blame politicians all we want. We can blame the media all we want. But at the end of the day, I mean, and this is something I've learned in the process of this, is how few people will actually show up to a candidate forum or to, a GOP meeting or to, a political meeting and hear the candidates, listen to what they have to say. So it comes down to us once again. And that's where the onus and, responsibility should be. But, I think you get what I'm putting down there. So.
Yeah, I do. I think that I'm hoping, Eli, that the pendulum swinging back also in the direction of where we have some intellectual honesty in the debate, where we where people will acknowledge facts as, and not dismiss facts because they're inconvenient to the political outcome that they want. And I think we're starting to see this both in the Democrat and the Republican Party, where we've got to have a moderation of the debate. There just seems to be so much hatred between the two sides, and they're so polarized, when in fact I think most people would prefer to see our government function where the best ideas are intellectually debated and we actually come up with outcomes that are driven by what's best for the country, as opposed to what's best for one party or the other.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I think that is what most people want to see. That being said, when we live in a day and age, Bob, where we're arguing about whether or not men can have babies or not, and that's a real argument in this country right now, which just blows my mind. It becomes really tough to have arguments or conversations or debates, if you will, about fiscal responsibility. And so I do believe what you're saying, and that is what the people want. Unfortunately, you have massive powers in this country that have people's ear, that have, basically all the financial resources necessary to propagate and push narratives that, have no desire at all to portray truth, but to, basically just push agenda. And I think that the American people see it. I think that's why the American people don't tune into the mainstream news anymore. That used to be a thing decades ago, where we believed a lot of the news outlets, the mainstream news outlets that we watched, as if they were actually, interested in reporting news. But it's, in my opinion, though the people want that, I don't think that that's what the ruling class and the elites in this country want. I think they want to, promote a narrative that, accomplishes their agenda. So I hate to say that, but that's what I see every single day.
Well, hopefully Eli will have a return to sanity here, and you can be a part of that. Thank you so much. We're going to be watching very closely on Tuesday night. I wish you all the best of luck. And, I know you've probably got a marathon sprint between now and then, but I just want to send out all of our best wishes to you. Whatever happens, you're a great American. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Hey, Bob, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
You've been listening to the Mission Oriented Podcast on the Veteran Crowd Network. My guest has been Eli Crane, who's running for Congress in the 2nd District in Arizona. Again, Eli, thank you for being our guest, and that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to Mission Oriented. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and you won't miss an episode. To learn more about Mission Oriented and the Veteran Crowd Network, visit us at www.veterancrowdnetwork.com.